What's up everyone, it's Little Yaha. Today I'm gonna show you guys how to make a compost slash worm casting farm, which you can also collect teeth from. And this is gonna be easy, simple, and possibly free. I'm gonna show you two ways of making this with some of the things that you can find around your house. None of the things that I am currently using I bought, and the point of this video isn't so you can copy everything word for word, letter by letter, but so you can get familiar with the basics and have a true in-depth understanding of what's actually going on. My goal is by the end of the video, I'm gonna help you guys make your own compost slash worm casting farm. Not necessarily with the things that I made, but you can copy it and replicate it with things that you find around your house. It could be a circle, a square, whatever. So let's go. I'm gonna bust a Blue's Clues. Alright everyone, here is a final look at the two models that I will be showing you guys how to make today. The one to the right is going to be a lot more easy, simple, and convenient for those who don't have a lot of material to work off on. You're also going to need two trays that are wider than your trash can and that are at least 6 inches tall. I found this unstable shelf. I decided I was going to put two pieces of metal plates at the bottom parallel to each other. I also put two pieces of wood on the opposite side. It wouldn't wobble no more, and it felt very firm. It actually stabilized it a lot. I added another two pieces of wood directly above. One of them is going to be really useful. The other one is just a little more for balance. I don't know what these are, but you can go ahead and hate on me and comment down below like, oh yeah, you don't know what a blah 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 is. But the key is to nail these L-shaped metal plates aligned with the wood in the back. You want to create a leveled floor. I am going to be using one of the sides of a dog cage that I broke apart. You can see the little metal locks on the corner, and you can use anything that isn't going to prevent the worm castings from falling through. If it's nice and tight, that's perfect. It is finally time to start making the worm casting bin, and the first thing I'm going to do is heat up a knife and poke a hole in it just so I can fit my saw in. You don't want to burn all the way through. It does smell bad and it will cause some kind of fucked up cancer. Use a saw. Leave a little room at the edges, like a little fingernail or half an inch or whatever. The goal is to kind of make this look like a cone, so that way the worm castings can be focused more directly into one spot and gravity can do its job and pull it down naturally. I'm not going to be using the top nor the bottom of the trash can. I'm only going to be using the metal net in between. Cut it into the shape of the bottom of the trash. Leave a little sticking out. You can also hammer it at the bottom just to get it to shape a little better. You see how nice and pretty it looks? I'm going to be using these two wooden planks to screw in 4 nails on, and you want to make sure you screw in between the wood because you could break it. Anything more than 4 screws is overkill, and I don't think it's necessary. I'm gonna add Gorilla Glue on the edges of the metal, and this isn't to hold it in place but to protect the worms because they could get cut and die, and this is just a way to keep them safe and alive. This is the bottom view, and it honestly came out pretty good, pretty resistant and strong, so I think this is gonna be good enough. Move the trash can to the side for now, or you can just put it on top. This is where it's gonna be placed at. I'm gonna poke holes in the smaller tray, and using Gorilla Glue, I'm gonna glue on these mosquito nets. I don't know if they're mosquito nets, but that's what I'm gonna call them. Make sure the holes are still visible so that the compost tea can still go through. This is the bottom view where the worm castings are gonna fall through. I'm right there, like damn, sheesh. Once they land here, the compost tea is gonna continue going down to the bottom tray. This is of course the top view. Alright guys, so this is my lazy version of a compost slash worm casting farm. All I did was grab a bin, throw a bunch of dirt in there, and make sure there was a few worms, and I fed them kale, tomatoes, banana peels, anything that worms can eat. They multiplied very quick. I also made a hole at the bottom to catch the compost tea, and that was one of the things I was able to take advantage of. I tend to put it in any plant that looks like it has a nutrition deficiency, and I grow other things besides cannabis like strawberries, tomatoes, kale, rosemary, oregano. Just let me know if you guys want a whole nother video like a garden tour, or like have any questions on how I care for my plants, or just want to see what kind of plants I have, like this onion, tomatoes, rosemary, got thyme, chili, a bunch of strawberries right here. This is my nopal, like bruh, it's insane. Cilantro, blueberries, some mint. All right, let's get back to the video. The next step is to fill up the bottom of your worm casting bin with cardboard, and eventually all of the fruit's juices are gonna soak into this and become worm food. I'm gonna fill up the bin 3/4 of the way way with compost and worms. And none of these worms I actually bought, but if you want to speed up the process, you could buy more worms. On the top layer, I added kale, strawberry, tomatoes, and a banana peel. And all of this I got from my garden. I also cut it up into little pieces just to make it easier for the worms to eat. On top of that, I added dead leaves, and this is going to create a nice, cool environment for them. They will also be eating this, and don't forget to wet the soil and everything else because worms love a moist environment. I'm only adding cardboard on top of this, but if you're sensitive to the smell, you can also add dirt on top of that, and that should cover most of the smells, if not all. If you're going to put a lid on it, make sure the lid has lots of holes or is not fully closed so the worms can breathe. Let's move on to the second model. So this one's going to be a lot easier to make, but it's going to be limited to the amount of things you can put in it. Just like the first model, I'm going to glue on mosquito nets to the holes, and this is going to prevent the worms castings from falling all the way through while also allowing the compost liquid to go down. What I also learned that instead of using gloves, just use a finger, get a little glue. It's a lot less dirtier and easy to clean off your finger rather than making a mess like I did on the first model. So this trash bin is a bit different. It has the bottom covered up. So what I did was I poked some holes in it so the liquid compost can go through. I also added some perlite to hopefully diminish the amount of worm castings that get lost. You see how there's a little half-inch gap? I put lots of cardboard just like the other one at the bottom. So once they're finished with all the fruits and vegetables, they can come down to the bottom and enjoy some nice juicy cardboard. Next step is to fill up the container with 3/4 of the way of compost and worms. And I just want to take a quick second to look at the worms that I like. Damn, that's a ball of worms. And I didn't buy none of this. They multiply like insanely quick. All of these worms happen in under a month. Like, damn, look at that fat worm. It's feasting. Like, it's living it right now. Don't forget to wet your dirt. Your worms will hate you, leave, and die. Next is your nitrogen-rich material. You got your celery, your kale, your lettuce. On top of that is your carbon base. You're going to have dead leaves, cardboard. This is not only going to make them feel safe, but it's also going to be food for later. And like I said earlier, if you can't stand the smell, you can also put dirt on top of this, and it should get rid of most of the smell. All right, so here's the complete setup. So the first bucket's going to catch all the compost juices, while the second one catches all the worm castings. The third one is going to be all of your compost, and the goal is that all of the dirt that you put in there will be taken out slowly over time, and eventually you'll just be getting out pure worm castings. To collect the worm castings, you're going to have to shift it out, almost like if you're mining for gold, and you can either do this on this container, which works really well, or you can try a bigger container. It might work faster and easier. This is basically the end of the video, but I just want to go through another walkthrough of the first model. And here we got the first tray. I added a brick in the middle just to have the worm castings at a higher level than the compost juices. The second tray has holes and nets on top of that, and just to catch the worm castings and allow the liquids to go through. This is the top. You can see the cardboard. It hasn't yet gotten liquidy or wet yet. Remember to wet the top, get it nice and moist. If you're gonna have a lid on it, make sure you poke a lot of holes or you don't completely cover it. This is gonna be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, or if this video was at all helpful, please like and subscribe if you aren't already. I just want to give a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed, who has been subscribed. We just hit 300 subscribers, and for all my haters, continue doing you. Stay strong. Without you guys, I wouldn't have half of my views. Nah, but for real, I love all you guys. And if you guys want to see a specific video, you guys want to see me do something, just let me know. Comment it down below and I'll most likely do it. But as always, remember, be good, people.